What's going on, YouTube? It's the Bold Man Wanderer back in town. And what we're going to watch today, we're going to watch an episode from No Carb Life. The guy, Dave Mack, he's the guy who, it's his channel. What a fantastic channel it is. And there's so many brilliant stories. I have watched an awful lot. And I love watching them. It's very, very interesting. It's very, very unique to hear all these perspectives. Counter to popular opinion because it's a carnivore channel, and yeah, most people are carnivore. Some people dabble in other things like spices and maybe a bit of fruit here and there, but well, I love it so much, and I started doing the carnivore, and I am no longer strict carnivore. I did it for a bit, found it way, way, way too hard. Now I'll add anything natural like spices or fruit. I do avoid a lot of veg.
Peter, how did you find carnivore?
I thought you would ask that, Dave. Yeah, thanks for having me back. And also, congratulations on having the best good news channel on the internet because everybody I listen to has got a good news story from extreme adversity to redemption, good health, happiness, whatever it may be. And that's absolutely fantastic.
It's true. It is true. It is very happy to like watch these videos. It feels good. It's a feel good channel.
So, if I may answer your question a couple of ways, because how have I found carnivore in terms of the discovery of carnivore and also the experience? The discovery, I have to go back 2 years because I've been 2 years on carnivore now. So, let's go early 2024, probably about March or so. I had a lovely dinner with my wife at a Mexican restaurant. It was one of those restaurants where they bring you lots of little small helpings of different things, and it was delicious. It was absolutely fantastic. Bottle of wine, the whole lot of thing, whole thing. And that night, I just did not sleep. My stomach just churned. And this was in Sydney, and we also have a small farm which I spend most.
A lot of people come on here with stomach issues and skin issues and all manner of things, but stomach is very, very common.
Of my time on, and I came back to the farm. And at that time, I was eating lots of carbohydrates. I knew nothing about carbohydrates. I enjoyed eating bread, cakes, candy bars, whatever. But I suffered always with heartburn or reflux after eating bread or cakes. And that would last maybe an hour and then I'd be fine.
Heartburn, very, very common. A lot of people out in this world get heartburn and just think they're stuck with it and don't do anything to change it. So, credit to those people who actually do try and change their conditions that they're living with. And if you want to live with chronic conditions, then go for it, I guess, and don't change it. But I'm certainly have my own chronic conditions, and I've always wanted to change it. I felt like I had no choice. And this guy doesn't even look like particularly, he's not fat. He doesn't look unhealthy. I mean, we're going to find out how long he's been on the carnivore, but, at first glance, he doesn't look like he's been destroying his body his whole life.
And, next day you're doing it again and again. And just because of that experience with the Mexicans, and I'm not decrying Mexican food at all. I love it. But there was obviously something wrong. My body was telling me, and uh, so I was sitting right here where I'm sitting now, and I was looking at my computer, and I thought, yeah, maybe it's something to do with what I'm eating. And I'd heard of the Atkins diet, and many years ago, and I thought,
So, Atkins diet, I'm pretty sure that's just fish and maybe veg. So, yeah, a popular low carb diet, high protein, um, high fat eating plan. So it's kind of similar to carnivore. Um, limit to 20 grams daily for at least 2 weeks. Okay, I'm probably on more than this, but I eat a lot of healthy fats. I eat huge amounts of protein. Skip the skip the leafy greens. Avoid, avoid, avoid. I'll look into something about the leafy greens at some point. So they avoid fruit, grains, and sugars. Okay. Look, after a hard day's work, I do like some fruit. I do like some fruit. I'm not truly fat adapted, I guess, but because I just felt like the fruit really does perk me up and gives me a bit of a hit at the end of the day. Maintenance. Increase your carb intake slightly to target your weight approach. So I guess you could say I've increased my carb intake slightly just with fruit, with nothing else. Allow you to eat healthy amounts of carbohydrate tailored to your body. Yeah, let's continue.
Like probably most people, oh, that's ridiculous. How can you do that? You know, you'll die. But I looked it up anyway, Atkins diet on YouTube, as you do, and one of the first speakers that came up was Anthony Chaffee, Dr. Anthony Chaffee, and obviously he's kind of pretty extreme carnivore, um, uh, and I just noticed. I looked at him and I thought, "Gee, this guy looks healthy." Yeah, and then he talked about him being a rugby player, et cetera, and fitness and so on, and and that took me down. Obviously, the algorithm started kicking in. And then I got to Ken Berry, Sally Norton, Bart Kay, Zoe Harcum. Isn't Zoe absolutely beautiful? I mean, wow, she speaks so nicely.
Right, there's quite a few of these people that I've heard of, and I'm gonna run through their stuff at some point. Let's just double check.
And and that took me down. Obviously, the algorithm started kicking in. And then I got to Ken Berry, Sally Norton, Bart Kay, Zoe Harcum. Isn't Zoe absolutely beautiful? I mean, wow, she speaks so nicely. Absolutely clear enunciation, and everybody I think should look at her 101 carbohydrate lectures that she does when she talks about that. And then Tim Noakes and Gary Fetke, those two guys are my heroes. I mean, I think they're just fantastic. And so I looked at all of this and I thought, gee, this is all making a lot of sense. And I think what really turned me more than anything, you can look at all the studies and scientific stuff, but what really turned me is what Anthony Chaffee talks about is the ancestral diet, and Ken Berry talks about our ancestral diet. And I just considered we've evolved over millions of years. It didn't just happen overnight, and our bodies are so intricate and so absolutely amazing in terms of how it works. I can't even begin to really understand it. And so that ancestral diet was largely meat based with sort of peripheral vegetables or fruits or whatever people could find on trees at certain times of the year. I mean,
If you don't know, you can get all your vitamins, minerals, etc. from water, salt, and meat and eggs. Yeah. So you don't need all these vegetables, and there's a lot of stuff, anti-nutrients. There's all sorts of information. So Sally Norton does a lot on oxalates, I believe, that we're going to cover at some point, which I'm very excited to look into with you guys. And yeah, and they do speak fantastically well, these people, they do. And if you think about it, it does make sense.
no different to kind of like the grizzly bear who eats salmon and meat, and then at the end of the season, when all the berries are ripe, absolutely goes for it to put on weight to hibernate for the winter and look after themselves for the winter. The other thing that really got to me was learning about this LNG white from the Seventh-day Adventists back in the 1800s, and I thought, from my point of view, anybody who says they've had visions and that just turns me cold, you know. And that whole story about how our libidos, our male libidos, were completely overrun by eating meat. And then the whole story about Harvey Kellogg and all that. So that really turned me. So I decided um, I'm going to give this a go. What have I got to lose? And if it doesn't work, I can easily go down to the shop and buy myself some broccoli um, and so on, and green vegetables and spinach and so on. And it just so happens the day I started was Anzac Day here in Australia, and that's the day we commemorate our fallen, very sacred.
This is a very long video, so there's no way I'm going to get through all this today. Yeah, but I
Day
do
in
want to.
Australia and New Zealand, and so it's an easy day to remember. So I'm 2 years in now, and I started, and my transition was just by buying 2 cans of sauerkraut and 2 bars of very dark chocolate. And I finished those over 2 weeks, and then I was into carnivore. Basically eating meat, really beef, butter, bacon, and eggs. But I was still using quite a lot of dairy, eating cheese, milk in my coffee, and so on. And I still maintained um, drinking coffee. And very quickly, uh, things started to improve. Probably about a month in, um, I suddenly noticed when I woke up in the morning, I'm breathing through my nose. And I had for years had a stuffy nose, always blowing my nose, blocked ears, um, that horrible sort of dark wax you get in your ears. And that all cleared out. My ears got clean. Um, my nose just cleared out, and I breathed through my nose. And that was uh, a thing that I hadn't expected at all. Um, uh, I started losing weight, and as I went through, probably in the first 6, 9 months, my weight came down. I've never been a very heavy person. I'm 5'8" tall. The most I've ever weighed is 77 kilos. But my weight came down, and it came down fast. And then it started to asymptote down to
Water weight. You lose a lot of water weight when you go low carb. You store glycogen, and then like glycogen holds like so much water, and then when you burn through your glycogen, you need to wee a lot, and then yeah, you lose a lot of water weight. It's not all fat. Not the immediate quick rush. You will over time lose it pretty quick, but not like the first few weeks.
I now weigh 61 kilos, and that's pretty light. And it feels so good. It feels so good. I've still got the same strength, lots of energy, um, and it just stays rock steady at 61 kilos. No matter if I eat a lot of meat, a little meat, lots of eggs, little eggs. And the health improvements just got better and better. Just like with looking at your cattle, you look around the head. If you look around the head and you look at the backside and see what's coming out the backside to to discern the health of the cattle and the state of their coat, and if they're limping or not, something's wrong. So if we look at ourselves, you look around just around your head first of all. I can start with my eyes. Always had to wear sunglasses in the sun in very bright lights, suffered really badly driving at night with the reflection from those signs. Um, that kind of just has gone. I can go out in the
It's just fascinating that it is like whole body healing. He might have, it was the heartburn that really forced him to change. And then you notice the whole body healing coming with it. And I've noticed stuff, particularly my sense of smell. Like when you go proper low carb keto for a while, like you can just smell everything so clearly, like it's so more distinct.
the sun now without sunglasses quite happily. Um, I did, I did always have kind of like a skin problem just where my eyelashes get to my eyelash, very itchy for many years. I've been to doctors about it. They'd given me ointments and so on. Um, very itchy, and you're always sort of kind of picking at it, you know. That's all cleared up. Um, the last 2 years, my prescription for my lenses hasn't changed. And before that, every year I was getting like a stronger reading. I'm I'm mainly reading glasses, a stronger prescription. So that hasn't changed. So great improvement on my eyes. If we go to the mouth, um, I haven't heard anybody talk about this, but having gone through carnivore now, I have always have a very nice taste in my mouth. Always nice, and never a dry mouth. Always good saliva, a nice taste in my mouth. And prior to going to carnivore, I really suffered from dentine exposure between my gums and my teeth. Very sensitive to hot and cold and to sweet stuff. That has completely healed up. It's just fantastic.
I
Dental care is a huge one that people comment on. Eyesight is just all over. It's just the whole body, like I've said. Like I've heard about like your receding gums like growing back, which is just thought of as impossible. Like completely impossible. And then obviously you're not eating sugar, although I am. But your cavities, if you're carnivore, they won't happen.
I al- I wonder if that's also part of being able to breathe through your nose properly now, because you're doing like when you're lying down and that kind of thing, you're not breathing through your mouth. So that probably improves just everything about your mouth. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I think everything's connected. We talk about ear, nose, and throat specialists because all of that is together, and also your teeth and your sinuses and the whole thing's in connected, and the improvement is just is just fantastic. And then it goes to headaches as well because I suffered, especially as a young man, uh, migraines. And if I look back at what I ate back in the day, it was just ridiculous. I had this the worst start. I mean, when you're a young guy, you think you're bulletproof, hey? And I would just eat anything. And uh, I did suffer serious. I know what migraines feel like. It's absolutely debilitating, and that improved in my 30s. But I still always used to have this kind of, I suppose you call it brain fog. Have days where you're just feeling kind of off in your head, and then waking up in the middle of the night with a really bad headache. And I always thought it was because I wasn't drinking enough water, so I drink more.
Let's take a look and see if there's some facts around here. First of all, I was thinking about heartburn because I feel like heartburn is just like blatantly, obviously food. Heartburn. 50% of UK adults report experiencing heartburn and indigestion at least once a month. Now, I'm not convinced that's good. Um, yeah, and acid reflux, kind of the same sort of thing. I think it's related, isn't it? Where it comes out of your valve, the acid. It's just not very nice, but quite possibly easily solvable. And what else did he say? Migraines. And migraines could be all sorts of things. But there's a billion people worldwide, apparently. A billion. So how many people is that due to diet? I mean, we'll never know. But if this guy's saying he's had an improvement, then yeah, quite possibly anyone else out there could as well.
Water, but I'd still get those headaches. I've since found that uh, it was cheese that I was eating that would give me those headaches at night. So, uh,
Not cheese, Peter. No, not the cheese. I can't live without cheese. Actually, I did for a long time. Just avoid cheese, but yeah, it's something I've added in, and I haven't noticed anything, to be honest. I'm eating sheep's cheese a lot and goat's cheese, which is supposedly significantly better than dairy, cow cheese, and
I discovered that I have a slight lactose intolerance, dairy intolerance, dairy dairy allergy, if you like. And since I quit eating that, I'd call it cheap cheese. We buy this sort of 500-gram block cheese, must be mass-produced cheese from the supermarket. And I used to eat that, and since I stopped that, those headaches have gone. So I don't have those headaches anymore. So my head's clear. Wake up with a clear head. Absolutely brilliant. So all of those improvements. Another improvement is in my skin. My skin is always moist. I use tallow soap totally. Washing what little hair I keep my hair nice and short now. It's very easy. Um, wash with tallow soap. Shave with a tallow soap. It makes a brilliant lather. And my skin is just moist. I haven't used any creams or lip ice.
100% again. I mean, look, skin is due to the internal functioning of your body, right? The quality of your skin. And I was going through, well, I've got psoriasis. That's my big problem, and I'm trying to heal it now by reducing the amount of garbage I'm eating, and it's getting better slowly. And yeah, if you've got a problem with your skin, slapping on moisturizer ain't really gonna be okay. I say it's not gonna be that effective. I do put an oil on my psoriasis to it does kind of stop it from flaking. It's disgusting, but yeah, it stops it from flaking and it does make it look a bit better. Okay, so I'm going to retract exactly what I said. So it might make it look a bit better, possibly, depending on what you're using, right? But you like people who are lathering it on all over every day, like all over their face, their arms, their legs, whatever. It's just not necessary. Not necessary at all. I'm gonna leave this here because it's an outrageously long video. Um, you can watch the rest of it on No Carb Life, and yeah, it's very interesting. It's got me hooked, and I'm happy to watch the next 45 minutes as well. So I'll leave that to you for you to see what happens with Peter and what else they discuss. So I'll see you in the next one, folks. Have a good day wherever you might be. Have a good evening. Good afternoon. See you in a bit.